patterns and sequences. If you look at example 2, write down the next three numbers of the sequence. You notice 6, 10, 14, 18. So from 6 going to 10, I notice something. The sum is 4. 10 going to 14. Oh wait, the sum is still 4. 14 going to 18, sum is 4. So I'm going to draw a conclusion. Most likely, looking at the pattern, looking at the consistency of the pattern, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, most likely 99.99% chance the following number is also at 4. That means the following number is 22. And the next number after that, 22, add 4, 26. So that is how you continue with patterns. Of course, it starts off easy, and as you progress, it will become slightly less easy. Difficult it will never become, because mathematics is not difficult. So, let us try one equation exercise. Look at the number pattern below. It starts at 2 squared. The pink section of the column is the formula, and the last column represents the answer. Everyone knows 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. But how do we get to that conclusion? Well, it's 0 squared. You don't add 4 and then multiply by 2. You do 4 multiplied by 2 and then you add 0. Remember BAMDAS, multiplication goes before addition and subtraction. And after you're done, you subtract 4. The first thing I notice is the first number in that sequence is a 0. As soon as I progress to the second number, it becomes a 1. When I go to 4 squared, the number is 2 squared. I notice that. That's the first thing I noticed. I go to the third column. At 2 squared, it's 4 multiplied by 2. At the following, it's 4 multiplied by 3. And then it proceeds with 4 squared, 4 multiplied by 4. So those are the two things I noticed. So when they ask me 5 squared, what is that answer? Most likely, it will be 3 squared. Add 4 multiplied by 5, subtract 4. Because I noticed the pattern. Let me see. Wait, start with 2. My apologies. And then they ask 5. Yes, so the first thing I noticed, let me change the colors of the things that I notice. 1, 2, 3. This is 2, this is 3, that is 4. So if they ask me find 5 squared, the first thing I'm going to notice is, oh wait, if it is 1, 2, 3, most likely the next number is 4. Oh, 0. 0, 1. Did I make a mistake somewhere? Yes. 2 is 0. Yes.
So the correct answer would be n minus 2 squared plus n minus 4.
Wait, I don't think it's n minus 2 in brackets. It's just n minus 2. Yes, n minus 2. Yes. N minus 2 plus n. Yes. That is the answer. So the following number is going to be 3, because I notice every time it goes up with 1. Add 1, add 1, add 1. It proceeds with adding 4, multiplied. The same number that is here is the same number that goes there. That's something I noticed. It's something you notice. All right, so probably it's like this. Subtract 4, and your answer is 25. And then suddenly they jump all the way to 23. Now it is less easy, but still easy. You notice it's always 2 less. 2 less. So the first number in that sequence is going to be 21 squared, because you notice the pattern. Plus 4 multiplied by the same number that's here goes there. Multiplied by 23. And then you subtract 4. 23 squared is what? 6 something. Oops. 529. And then they ask you immediately for the nth term. What is the nth term? The nth term applies to all numbers. So if I say 27, you use the nth term and you get the answer 27. The nth, n, means represents any number that you wish. If you use the formula of the n, you can get to any number possible. So if I tell you find 401 squared, you use the formula of the n and you get to that answer. Of the n, yes. So the n, they already started to write it for you. They made it half. So if I have a number, that first number in the sequence is the n, subtract 2 squared, followed by you add 4 multiplied by what? N. Multiply by n, and when you're finished, you subtract 4. That is the nth term. It starts off easy, giving you hints, and as you progress, you have to figure it out. Every nth term is different. None are the same. All of them are different. Yes. What do you notice here? Minus 2. The first number is minus 2 of the n. So if I have 2, this is 0. If 3, this is 1. So if this is 2, what's the number in the first number? 2 minus 2, 0. If it's 3, what's the number in the middle? 1. There it is. If it's 4, what is the number? 2. Because it's n minus 2 squared. What don't you understand? What do you want me to place? N minus 2 squared? If you do that, it's n minus 4. And if my n is 1 minus 4, the answer is negative 3, which is wrong. You don't have to place brackets. This is the nth term. Try to understand the nth term. Nth term means any number I place in the n, you use this specific formula to get to the answer. So if I say, what is the answer to 2 squared? You use this formula. So, what is my n? My n is 2. Minus 2 squared plus 4 multiplied by 2 minus 4. If you continue to make it, you get 0 squared plus 4 multiplied by 2, subtract 4. And if you notice, this equation is the exact same equation as there. Yes, this equation applies to all. In a test, 99% of the time, they ask you to find a number, like 5 and 23, and then ask you to find n. 90% of the time, I make the following one. I skip the one they ask afterwards and invest all my time in the n. Because there's no point in losing 5 minutes over that and then another 10 minutes there. It's best if you spend 14 minutes here and then you get to this answer immediately. Of course, as you make a few, you start to understand how to make them. Remember, none of these are the same. No ever formula you will ever get in your life about chapter 5 will ever be the same. All the n terms are different. All of them. So, let us make exercise 6. The which one? 4. Exercise 4? What don't you get? N? N is the number of shape. So n can be 1, it's like saying x. X is a variable. It can take any possible number. So n is 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 or 15. You decide what it is, the nth shape. Sorry? A half, yes. All the n terms are different. They're all different. You have to investigate. They're all different. You just have a random pattern and then you have to figure it out. They're all different. it. Oh no, I thought I made it. So exercise 6 states, so exercise 6, A, draw the next two shapes that continue in the sequence. So you have a shape, the number of line segments. So you start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know that's the first one. Up. The next two sequences. So what do I notice? You add 7, add 7. So there is a high probability that the next one you also have to add 7, which then turns into 29. And then the correct, you proceed to B, add the shapes in the table. Or you just have to draw one. Yes. Yes. Yes, we're going to make it almost the same. Chapter 5, it depends between 8 to 15, give or take, how many questions. Most of the time it's the same questions. Let's get a nice color that looks the same. Somewhere there, yes. Boom. All right. I'm going to start teaching visual arts. Look at that. Wow. No one can beat this. So you have the following shapes. If they connect, what connects? Correct.
All worth 7.
They are worth what?
They're all worth 7 because they're sticking to each other.
What do you mean worth 7?
Like are all the shapes 7?
No, the first one is 8, the second one is 15, the third one is 22. Every time I add the shape, 7 line segments come additional in the second shape. The third shape, another 7 comes. Let's try like this. 4. This becomes 29, 36. C. How many line segments are needed for the 8th shape? 8. I look at C and I skip C, go to D. Write the end term. In all the exams, it's always the same. So I skip C, invest all my time in D. So I leave C open on purpose and go to D, which is the end. What is the end? All right, let's go notice patterns. I notice when I have the first shape, the answer is 8. As soon as I go to the second shape, I add 7 to it. So, what's the first thing I will try? You always have to use the n. So I have the n. I probably multiply with 8, because that's the first. 1 times 8 is 8, that's correct, I'm still correct. And then I go to the following shape, it's 15. 2 times 8, but that's 16. That's incorrect. I don't have 16 shapes, I have 15 shapes. Sorry? It doesn't matter if you place it in or not in a bracket, because multiply goes before addition anyway. So if you do 8n like this, or write it like this, it's the same thing. There's no difference. So, n times 8. The first one is correct. When I go to the second one, it's 16. Some people say -1. All right, let's try that. -1. But if I go back to 1, my answer is not 8 anymore. When you use the formula, it has to count for all the shapes. So 8n minus 1 is incorrect. Who has a wild guess? It's not n times 8 minus 1. Minus 7. This is not something you can guess. You literally have to make it. Keep making it. Yes.
Instead of n times 8 minus 1, in answer it's n plus 7.
N plus 7. So what is your n term?
N plus 7 instead of n times 8.
This? Done? Remember, all n terms are different. So if I make this, you make the following one, it's different again. You have to notice the patterns. You have to go at it. This is something certainly I cannot help you with. This chapter gives the most points in a single exam. I think the last one was 6 to 8, 10, 12 points. So the correct answer we were looking for, n times 7 plus 1. Because 1 times 7 is 7, I add 1, that's 8. 2 times 7 is 14, if I add 1, that's 15. 3 times 7 is 21, if I add 1, that's 22. Chapter 5 is somewhat less easy than chapter 4, because it's no formula you can just apply. You have to do, as they do they name in English, trial and error. Try it, if it works, okay. If it doesn't work, again. I have my end term. I spent exactly 3 minutes on it, so that saved me time for the 8. The 8, what is the 8 then? 8 times 7, add 1. 57. As soon as I get the end, you make C in less than 5 seconds. So it's in your benefit to always go for the end. And certain occasions, I don't even do 4 and 5. I just go to the end directly. Spend all my 15 minutes on that specific answer. We have one more. E. Use the formula to find a position the sequence shaped 351 line segments, which has to do with the end. So if you cannot figure out the end, a question like that is worth 2 to 3 points, depending. Finding the end is also 2 points. So together it's 5 points. That's why the end is always the most beneficial. So it's saying, I have n multiplied by 7 add 1, and the total number of line segments is 351. What shape is it? We add a little bit of algebra, basic algebra. N times 7 equals 350. Something multiplied by 7 is 350. So that something is 50. Wow. We love mathematics. I sure do. Chapter 4.